Yesterday evening, like many Americans, I watched the State of the Union message. And one of the things that I found disturbing was part of the discussion that dealt with the issue of immigration. In particular, it was the choice of using the term chain migration, a pejorative term, to talk about the story of how so many Americans came to be Americans. We're a nation of immigrants. Each one of us has a story. My own family, it was a Portuguese sailor who came to Quebec in 1640. A century later, it was a French miner who came to Kaskaskia in the Illinois country to engage in mining operations. Between the story of those two migrants over the course of 10 generations, my family has been here in America, making our story, making our place. When I thought about the words that Mr. Trump made last night, talking about chain migration, it made me realize that those comments don't necessarily fit that well with the story of the Illinois 18th. You know, stop and think about places like Toluca in Marshall County, places where Italian immigrants, Lithuanian immigrants, Polish immigrants came together to engage in mining operations. Initially, a small number of people came over. As time went on, more members of their families came over. And in the process of so doing, what we saw was the establishment of a vibrant community. Vibrant churches came along, churches that existed both for the reason of keeping the community together, connecting people with the old country, but at the same time serving as agents for acculturation and assimilation here in the United States. Here in Peoria, we saw the sons and daughters of I-2 who left a mountain village within the Ottoman Empire to come here to the United States to make a life for themselves. It started out as small numbers of individuals coming over, but eventually larger numbers of family members came over. And today, once again, we see a vibrant ethnic community that's established itself within the Peoria area. If we look today at modern day communities like Rushville down in Schuyler County, where we see West African immigrants from nations like Togo and Guinea and Sierra Leone and others who have come to work here in America. Once again, families have been established here, individuals are creating communities. The historical term that we've always used for this is serial migration. It's the way that America has essentially become America. We've been refreshed through the years as waves of immigration have brought new families, new cultures, new ideas to this place. When serial migration occurred in the 19th century, people were afraid at the time. People were afraid because people represented different cultures, different religious views. Some came from kingdoms, some came from caliphates, but the idea was they could make themselves anew here in America, and they did. They learned how to speak English as their children taught them English. You see, we're facing a unique moment in our history because we can't both be the mother of exiles and at the same time the nation that becomes the crusher of dreams, or certainly one that crushes the mechanism of dreams. What's today being called chain migration is the story of about how half of the immigrant population that came to America ended up here. I believe that we need to have a true discussion of who we are, what our immigrant history is in this nation. And we can't let our fears get the best of us. America has always been a nation of immigrants, will continue to be a nation of immigrants. But if we let our fears drive this discourse, if we let the darker parts of our character drive this discourse, we're not looking at continuing to be the nation that we have been in the past, the nation that welcomes the immigrant, the nation that is the mother of exiles. I hope that in the campaign ahead, we can have a good discussion on this issue. It's a vital issue of the day.